Hey everybody, sorry on the the setup, which I don't use too much, which I will start being using more. Um, yeah, so today we're gonna talk about how I found out I had cancer and dealing with cancer and COVID. Um, so uh, I did have a heart transplant 24 years ago, and um, I was at a I was at an appointment with my cardiologist, and they found uh, some of the kidney function wasn't working properly, so they started checking. Um, the day I had the last appointment, she had me do an ultrasound, and with some dye, I don't remember exactly what it's called, and I didn't really think too much of it just because I have so many tests done to me. And we went and, I did the test, um, went poker tournament. And the next morning, I get a call from my cardiologist, and she told me that, I do have cancer, and they're going to start the process of checking everything out. And yeah, it was a lot to take in. I've somebody who already dealt with, now that a few other surgeries that I've had, and the biggest thing for me was having to tell my family, my mom, and my friends. I have a very tight knit group of friends and family, so that to me was harder. I really wasn't stressing. I I have faith in God, and I know my how do you say it? My doctors have always been great. I've always had great doctors. I made sure for forever that I could keep the same doctors that I've had since I was little. And the biggest thing is knowing that I know that I'm strong enough to survive, most things, and just having to deal with the process that is hard. Like for any kind of major health issue, it's not just a cut and dry thing. It's always something that lasts longer, and that was the thing I was worried about more than anything. At first, my doctor told me that, well, the cancer surgeon said that a certain kind of surgery, so that kind of put me at ease. And then just having to do more tests. One of the big tests that I don't like, I mean, I don't mind having surgeries, but I do not like going into like the tubes for the MRIs and the CT scans. Those just freak me out. I don't even like talking about it. But they're not I deal with in the last couple years. Mentally, for me. Finding out that I had cancer really changed the direction of everything I was working on and focusing on. I was a business coach to help me. I hired her for a year, and her name's Rachel. She's amazing, and I was really focused on building my Facebook group, which I'm on right now, and starting my online business, like really getting it going. And I found out in I think the last, I'm almost positive that's when I found out that I had the cancer, and then everything just happened fast. Like 2 days later, I had a biopsy. A couple days after that, I had another a PET scan, which was horrible. It was doctor's appointments, and it all happened right around the time of this COVID-19 really taking effect, and I think it was like the second week. So I was still working, not really working that much because I kept having to take days off because I had doctor's appointments. And when I did contact my work has a very, they're very good with leave of absence and time off when it's needed medically. And but that it happened the exact same day when my president put the stay at home for the quarantine, and really wasn't a big deal for me because in the past I was in the hospital for 7 months. So being in the hospital, connected to IVs and tubes and machines, and then now you're just at home and you're able to work if you really wanted to. At the beginning, I was going out more than I probably should have, just because I like going for drives and different things. But I do have a low immune system, and it probably wasn't the smartest idea. And then I had a day I found out to the day I had my surgery. So, after like the third week, it was about 3 weeks of waiting for, at home for the surgery. And that's especially when you can't do anything. It mentally it's difficult, very difficult. You just think a lot. I used to work graveyards, and going through a breakup or dealing with whatever you have to do, and if you're just kind of like not active with stuff, you just for me, I was overthinking things, but I wasn't overthinking things wasn't it's just, how do you say it, I was just, you're just thinking about it, like, oh, they're gonna have to open me up again. I've been opened up like 5-7 times before, so I wasn't really scared about the surgery. Luckily, I don't have to do chemo. That's what they're saying. As long as everything stays the same way, I don't have to do chemo or radiation. It has to be surgery, and I'm more at ease with that. And then the way they said the surgery was going to be more so, not so worried about it. And just hanging out, trying to stay busy. I couldn't get back into my business, which was frustrating for me because I probably put a lot of pressure on myself to get my business going, and I really kind of like stepped away from it. I stepped a few things, business, and I do like reading, and I couldn't focus on reading or anything. Buying more stuff on Amazon than I should have, but everybody does what they have to do to mentally move forward and share more before my surgery, or like, because I think that's why I'm doing this now. I have one more surgery to go, because they found the cancer on my kidneys, on both kidneys. So they took out the bigger tumor first, and now they're gonna go after. I'm not really even sure how much smaller it is, but they're gonna, so they did one, and they can't do it both at the same time, just because if your kidneys start failing, they want to make sure you have one strong kidney, and then they're gonna make sure do the other one. But they can't do both at the same time, because then it's just a whole another set of problems if it messes up. The week before my surgery, I got a call from the lady in scheduling at the hospital for the surgery, and that's when I really had more of a difficult time. They told me that they were going to change the way my surgery was going to be done, and it went from being orthoscopic to they're going to like down my stomach, and that really kind of pissed me off. Not that I could do anything about it, but it just kind of like irritated me that they weren't going to go orthoscopic, because I know it's so much easier to heal from. And that's when I was told physical with me, and usually my mom and my family are there, and even when you go in to prepare in the morning, and And then when you're waking up, you have, family, some friends come to visit. But knowing that no hospital, I had to go a couple days before the surgery for a CT scan, and it was like a ghost town at USC. It was very interesting the way the hospital was and how different, with the COVID-19. And I had my surgery before when they told me the changes, and then I had to go for the CT scan, which was on a Thursday, I believe. And then on Friday, they told me I had to go the next day to go do a COVID test, which was, it didn't really bother me. They wanted to test everybody that was going to have surgery, that was going to have to stay in the hospital. So on, the next day on Saturday, gave me a reason to leave the house, so it wasn't so bad. I had to go back to USC to get a COVID test, and I don't know if anybody's had it yet, or there's different kinds, but they get a big Q-tip and they swab your throat and they swab up your nose. Fortunately, something messed up when they had their something messed up when they put it back in its thing, and they had to do it twice, which whatever, it is what it is. But the second time was way easier for some reason, and and then of my surgery, my parents, they dropped me off at the hospital, and it was weird. It was weird going by myself. It was weird, just having my phone was my only interaction. I had I was texting my mom, I think my sister, and we were just trying to keep my mind off of it, which you could only do so much. And before you knew it, I woke up and I had my, they cut me open again to take out the cancer. They said encapsulated the tumor, so nothing was spreading, and it went out. They weren't able. They were lucky that it was able to only take out a small piece of a small part of my kidney, and the tumor. So the other side, and I was in the hospital for I think 3 days, and then I came back home, and luckily my mom was amazing, and she stayed with me to help me. The hardest part is the recovery. As long as everything goes well in the surgery, I have a hard time sleeping. Happened because of my other surgeries. You don't want to lay down on the bed or anything. And and then just having the COVID thing going, nobody was really able to come over. I would just stay with my mom for a week, or just I think like a week and a half, and my friends and family, they drove by my apartment, were honking and saying happy birthday and stuff, which was amazing. And now it's been it hasn't been officially a month yet. I think it's ahead on the 6th, today the 5th.
Well, tomorrow's May the 4th.
Yeah, so it's a couple more days and it'll be a month. I'm doing really well. I do wish I would have jumped back on my business sooner, but things happen at the right time. So I'm really gonna get back on this group. I would love to hear anybody's questions. If you have any questions, I really feel mentally you have to be strong in order to deal with all any kind of issue. It doesn't have to be cancer. I know there's a lot of people who are depressed and just frustrated with being inside. There's a lot you could do to help, and sometimes it's just hearing somebody else's story. That's why my main focus for the last I've been thinking about for the last couple of weeks is sharing my story. I got back on writing my book, which was kind of on hold for a little while. Yesterday I had a great and we got done with two more chapters, and hopefully, we get the book done in the next couple months. I'm also preparing for another surgery that should happen in June, which it's not easy to mentally prepare to have a surgery, but it's something that nothing I could do about it. I just got to do it and get it over with, and get back on my business, and eventually get back to work. But I really want to focus on my online business and helping people. I really want to help people share their story, because everybody's story is, and you never know who you could inspire and change their lives and help. So again, thank you all for listening. I'm going to be doing more of these. If you have any questions, if you have anything you want to hear me talk about or have more questions about, please let me know. And have a great night. Bye.